Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as Cheryl M. Health Muse, and I am a health coach. I want to welcome you to my podcast, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. This is a weekly show that will share lifestyle changes that you can make to support your health yourself. Why do I want to share this information with you? 7 years ago, after being a business owner for 20 years, I woke up one morning in horrific pain where every bone and every joint in my body hurt. I went to the doctor. She ran lots of tests, and then she ran some more, and then she ran some more, and finally she called me and announced she was going to give me steroids, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with me and I should seek therapy. I knew something was wrong. I hurt. So she told me I would be on steroids for the rest of my life, and I refused that I was going to have a life of pain and pills. So why was I going to take steroids if there was nothing wrong with me? So I dug in and started researching, and I turned my business over to my staff. I found a functional doctor who confirmed that I had autoimmune disease. By making a series of significant lifestyle changes that I could do for myself, 5 years later, I had returned to relative health. The best part is that I am now 70, and I feel better now than I did when I was 50. I no longer hurt, which is huge. I will always have autoimmune disease, but losing the pain has been amazing. I went back to school at 67 and became a health coach because I want to share everything that I learned with others. And I wrote a book called It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again, as the manual I wished that I had had when I got sick, and my book has won 13 awards. So whether you want to future-proof your health and grow old with dignity and grace without dementia and chronic pain and disease, which you don't need to get, or whether or not you already have a chronic condition like autoimmune disease or cancer or heart disease, and you want to learn about what things you can do to improve your long-term health, or whether you want to improve the health of your families and raise healthy children, because 53% of our children have a chronic condition, I look forward to sharing all this information with you. I will tell you, it truly does feel good to feel good, so let's get started. I look forward to having you join me here every week, and I want to give you hope that if you have chronic pain or chronic disease, you can make changes that will improve your health. And if you don't want to go there, you're going to be fine if you listen to the show and put these things into work. I want to give you information so that you can grow old and have a better tomorrow. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Welcome to another edition of It Feels Good to Feel Good. And for anybody out there who hasn't been feeling good, you will know exactly what I mean, that your body will talk to you when you are doing lifestyle habits that aren't agreeing with it, because it's going to start complaining and say, hey, clean it up, because I'm not feeling that hot and I want to feel good, because when you feed me right and when you do the right habits, I feel pretty darn good and I want to feel that good again. What these podcasts have been about, we've done 2 in this series, this is the 3rd one in the series, are the 45 different lifestyle habits that you control, you, nobody else. You have a direct control over these 45 different habits, and if you slowly add all of them into your daily regime, your body's going to start celebrating that it's feeling pretty darn good. I have covered some of this in bits and pieces over the last 2 years, but I thought it would make sense to do all 45 in a row so that you get the big picture, because by chopping them up into little bits, you're not getting the big picture of how the parts fit together. So we are up to number 18 on the old David Letterman chart of what you should do so your body is happy. And number 18 is to drink a lot of water. Your body needs water. It doesn't need Coke. It doesn't need sugar. It doesn't need heavily sugared fruit juices. It needs pure, beautiful, preferably filtered water. And I like to put a little bit of lemon in my water, but I have three very abundant lemon trees in my backyard. So for at least most of the year, I have tons of lemons and they're very juicy. And so I get to enjoy that lemon juice in my water. But it doesn't matter because even if I don't have the lemon to put in my water, water is crucial to every single body system in your body. And you need to be drinking it all day long. It's good for your cells. It's good for your blood. It's good for your kidneys. My kidney report wasn't as good this last time because I hadn't been drinking as much water. So I am back to carrying my water bottle with me everywhere I go because drinking water is important and I want to be drinking it no matter where I am at all times of the day. And you want to filter your water because you should get a water report. I think we did talk about this a little bit last time. Get a water report from your water department. And if you have a well, get somebody out to test what's in your water and then filter it. We started with a relatively inexpensive, I think it was about $200 filter system that went under the kitchen sink. That was the water that I cooked with. That was the water that I filled my water bottles up from so that I have water that doesn't have the atrazine and the arsenic and all the crud in it that comes through our water system that's also not good for our body. So we need the water, but we don't need all the toxins that go down into our groundwater that then come out our tap. And remember, there's a lot of people who throw their pharmaceuticals down the toilet. And where do you think that goes? Comes right out your kitchen faucet tap because that stuff all goes into your water system. So it's important that you filter it. You can go to ewg.org and they have a whole bunch of places where you can get different priced water systems to clean your water coming out of your pipes. So you want to have the cleanest water possible, and you do not ever want to drink your water out of plastic. The only time I now ever drink out of plastic is when I'm going through an airport security line, because it's the only way I can get my water into the plane with me so that I have it for the long flight. The plastic not only leaches chemicals into the water, but it releases little microbes of plastic round balls into your water, and both are detrimental to your health. So by putting your own filtered water into your own stainless steel container, you're protecting your body from all those toxins. And remember, you want to be as good to your liver as you possibly can. If you didn't watch my 3 podcasts on the liver, go back and look them up and take the time to listen to them because your liver is the clearinghouse for your body and it's the place that all the toxins go to find a way back out of your body. And as goes the health of your liver, goes the health of your heart, which is the number one reason that we die in America. It takes care of your kidneys if you have a healthy liver. It takes care of your gut and your lower gut. It takes care of your brain. Having a healthy liver takes care of your gallbladder. It's important. So you want to love your liver and give it the respect it deserves, because by loving your liver, you're loving all the other organs in your body too. And so if there's lots of toxins in your water, it's really hard because you're going to make your liver work overtime. You're supposed to drink half of your body weight in ounces. That's a lot of water. So the only way you're going to get that much water in is that when you get up in the morning, you're going to drink water. And then when you sit down at your desk to check your email, you're going to be drinking water. And when you're driving to work, you're going to be drinking water. And when you're driving to the grocery store, you're going to be drinking water. You want to have water with you. And I bought great big jugs that are stainless that I keep in the back seat of the car. So if I do run out of water in my regular sized water bottle, I have my own refillable supply right with me so that I never am low on water because it's that important. Okay? Number 19. Now this one I think is interesting, and there's a little bit of a disagreement out there in the functional medical community. but they believe that you should avoid gluten whether you're sensitive to it or not. And that's because gluten does interfere with different body systems. Gluten is the elastic stuff that's in your grains that helps things like bread and pasta hold together. And it can cause leaky gut. It can cause inflammation. It does not have very much in terms of nutrients. It has a few nutrients, but it slows the absorption of the other nutrients that you eat. And it does eventually make you fat, and it makes most people very sick. Now, I still do eat a little bit of bread, and I do eat a gluten bread, not a gluten-free bread. But you want to eat less and less of it because it's better for your body. Okay, number 20 is interesting. Number 20, you all know this, and that's don't smoke. But I come across people who smoke all the time anyway. And for a big portion of my adult life, I was one of them. When I got autoimmune disease, I sat down with my cigarette and looked at it and went, what the heck am I doing? I know I've quit 5 times. I always end up going back to it. And the bottom line is, it is just not good for me. Now, my lungs had been checked out. My lungs were fine. It didn't occur to me that smoking was actually interrupting all my body systems because of all the heavy toxic metals that were in the smoke. So I finally made a decision that if I wanted to stop hurting, which was a pretty big why, I was going to have to quit smoking. And how was I going to do that when I kept wanting to smoke even when I quit? Well, I made a decision that I was going to be a smoker who chose not to smoke. Period. And I have never smoked again. I know it's a weird thing, but when you make up your mind and you have a big why, you'll be surprised what you can actually achieve. You can stop eating all of that sugar and all those chemicals in the standard American diet. You can stop smoking because all of the things that go from the smoke into your body are so god-awful for you. If you have the mindset that you're no longer going to try, you're just going to do, you'll be surprised what you can do because you make up your mind and you never look back. So when I teach my class how not to eat the standard American diet, we talk about, I don't want to hear that you tried. I want to hear that you stopped. And when it comes to smoking, I want to hear that you stopped there too. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. Because I was really hooked, and it didn't matter how many times I quit. I always went back to it. Well, no more. And it took me 2 years to get all the heavy toxic metals out of my body, and things like cadmium had come directly from cigarettes. So what your liver does is when it has too many toxins and it doesn't know what to do with them all, it starts to jam them into your body fat and hide them in your organs. So for a short period of time, it looked like I got all the heavy toxic metals out of my body. And then we tested a year later, and I'll be darned, I had heavy toxic metals floating around in me again because they had leached out of my fat and my bones, which is where my liver had tucked them away. So I had to go through the detox all over again. And it's not fun to detox off of stuff like heavy toxic metals. So stop now. Don't exasperate the issue. Don't keep putting all those nasty chemicals into your body. Just stop already. Don't try. Just do it and stop smoking. And for those of you out there who are vaping, who think that that's not going to cause you a problem, there are as many, if not more, chemicals in the vaping smoke than there were in the cigarettes themselves. It's all bad for you. You're putting chemicals into your body that are hostile to your body systems. So you don't want to vape and you don't want to smoke. And God knows you don't want to be smoking cigars or a pipe. All of that stuff is taking in through your lungs and putting into your blood and your lymph system a whole bunch of nasty chemicals that your body doesn't need. Okay, next up is not my favorite, but I keep working on it, and it is a goal for this year, and that is that you need to move. I've never liked to exercise. I probably never will like to exercise. But what I do is I have what I call my mini trampoline. I have a little rebounder, and I'm currently reading a book about the lymph system and how good it is that I get on my little rebounder and I jiggle. I don't have to jump big, I just have to jiggle, and right now I'm only doing it for 15 minutes. But whether or not you're on a rebounder or you're outside walking at a brisk rate around your neighborhood, which some of you can't do because of the weather, but if you can, get outside. Whatever you can do to move is good for you. And if you can do some yoga while you're at it, that's also really good for your lymph system because the yoga squeezes your muscles, which moves your lymph around. Your heart has a motor. Your heart makes your blood flow through your arteries and your veins. But your lymph system doesn't have a motor. So what makes it go through your body systems is by squeezing your muscles and moving it along that way. And your lymph system is what goes and collects all the garbage from around all your cells. So it plays a really important role too. And if your lymph system isn't happy and it's all clogged up, your liver's not happy, which means your heart's not happy, which means your digestive system is not happy, which means your brain's not happy. So you want to make sure that you eliminate as many toxins as possible so that when the lymph goes to pick up the garbage, there's less and less garbage to pick up along the way. You should be exercising 3 to 5 times a week, and you want to move for your liver and your heart, and you want to move to maintain flexibility. Now, I'm 73, so it's time that I start making sure that I have flexibility, because if I don't, by the time I'm 85, I'm not going to be able to move, and that is not a very pretty thing to think about. So you want flexibility, you want to get your heart rate going a little bit, and you want to get your blood and your lymph system to move. Moving naturally throughout the day, whether it's walking or gardening or even just doing housework, or at work or in your car or at the gym, even on your couch, if you do some exercises by moving the different muscles in your body, that taking frequent stretch breaks. When I used to fly to Asia all the time, we would do what was called airplane aerobics. Right from our seat in the airplane, we would start to stretch our arms and stretch our arms. You can do that literally anywhere, even when you're sitting watching television at night. So move your body, flex your body, get your heartbeat going, and keep yourself flexible. Number 22, get outside every day. Now, if you have any trouble sleeping, this one is especially important because by getting outside, believe it or not, even though it's first thing in the morning, you're going to set your circadian rhythm for when it's time to go to bed at night. I found that amazing. That was something that came out of the Why We Sleep study that is now a book that's been a bestseller, and it comes from a study that was done at UC Berkeley. By getting outside, even if it's only for 10 minutes in the morning, by seeing the natural sunlight, we give ourselves a little boost of vitamin D, which we desperately need, and we're also setting our circadian rhythm so that we can sleep at night. I used to always sleep from the minute I hit the pillow until it was time to get up in the morning, and I didn't want to get up in the morning. Well, now I wake up. So I'm being very cognizant of all the things that I can do so that I sleep all the way through the night, because it is that important. And one of them is getting outside into sunlight. So get into nature, see the wonders in your world. Getting outdoors and taking a walk in your neighborhood, or going to a city park, or heading to the beach to sit on the sand, or at the end of a wharf to watch the waves, heading to the woods to enjoy forest bathing. All of that is an important way for you to get chemicals that nature releases that are good for your body, which happens when you're in the forest, or that helps you reset your circadian rhythm when you're out in the sunlight. All of that is super good for you. What else does it do for you? It improves your attention span, both short-term and long-term. It increases your serotonin. Now, what does serotonin do? It's your feel-good hormone. Serotonin makes you happy. So it also makes you much more pleasant to be around, whether you're around coworkers or you're around your spouse or you're around your children, whoever you're around your customers. If you're getting outside and you're increasing your serotonin, then you're increasing your happiness hormones, so you're much easier to be around. You can also improve your serotonin by eating one Brazil nut a day, just one. Anybody can eat one Brazil nut. It's really good for you, and it gives you an ample supply of serotonin to get through the day. It increases your brain activity to get outside. And it increases your ability to be empathetic, and it increases your emotional stability. All pretty darn good reasons to get outside into nature. And finally, it increases your energy level from just 20 minutes of being outside every day. Okay? Next up, number 23, watch your posture. Believe it or not, if you're not sitting straight in your chair, your organs all hang off your spine. And if your spine is curved, your organs are not laying where they're supposed to inside your body, and you're doing your organs harm. So sitting, standing, walking, sleeping, your skeleton is actually like a tree, and your internal organs hang right off of it. Bad posture places these organs in unnatural positions, which causes them stress, which then leads to chronic illness. Good posture enhances your authority in the workplace. So if you stand up straight, people see that you're a person who's in command and you feel better. So all the way around, it's a positive thing. Number 24. This one is a biggie for me. You've got to practice stress management. I wasn't when I had my own business, and I got so low by utilizing and burning out all my cortisol. I was borderline Addison's disease. Now, how did I know that I was that sick? Because when I got up in the morning, I was more tired than when I went to sleep at night. It's not a good thing. I have somebody in my current class learning how to eat with me who is struggling with severe adrenal fatigue. And there are things you can do for it, but one of them is you've got to get a good night's sleep, and you've got to practice breathing exercises to take care of your stress management. The one that I learned that I love to use, and you've heard me say this a bazillion times on these podcasts, I want you to learn to do the Dr. Andrew Weil 478 breathing exercise. It's easy to learn it. He does it on several YouTube videos. You can look him up and do it right along with him until you got it down. When I go to my functional doctor, I drive an hour in LA traffic. Now, trust me, that's a stressful thing to do because I'm doing it during rush hour. So what do? So that my blood pressure isn't sky high when I get to her office, I do the Dr. Andrew Weil 478 breathing exercise. It doesn't matter if you do it fast or if you do it slow. What matters is the cadence of the breathing. So you breathe in for 4, you hold it for 7, and then you put your tongue up against your teeth and you blow it out for 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was for 8. You do that 4 times. That's all you have to do it. And it resets what's called your reptilian brain, which is your parasympathetic nervous system, and lowers your stress and allows your adrenals to work properly and allows your body systems not to be impacted by the stress. Every organ in your body is impacted by the inflammation that is created by stress in your body. So I can't emphasize how important it is that you learn how to do this and you do these breathing exercises on a regular basis to keep your adrenals working properly and to keep the stress topped off so that you're not feeling heavily stressed as you go throughout your day. So some other possibilities that you could do, you can just stand up next to your desk and bounce. And you bounce so that everything in your body jiggles. Your arms jiggle, your head jiggles, your legs jiggle, your body jiggles, everything jiggles. You do that for 4 minutes, and that lets all the stress off your body, which is fantastic. You could tap your body, starting at your feet and tapping around your ankles and then up your leg, past your knees and down the sides, and then up the back, past the inside of your knee and down again, and then up the inside of your leg and down again. And then you come up to your middle and you tap your middle and you release any stress that's been held in the cells there, and you come up and you tap where your gut is, and then you come up and you tap where your chest is, and then you tap down your arms, and you go down the outside of your arms, and you tap your hands, and you tap your hands, and then you go back up through the inside of your arms, and then you come back down on the side, and then you go back up on the outside, and you do go over to your chest and go down the other arm and do the same thing. Then you come and you tap your back, you tap your neck, you tap your face, you tap your forehead and your eyes, you tap your ears, you tap the top of your head, you tap the back of your head, you tap as far down your back as you can, and then you go down and you tap your butt, and then you go back down the back side of your legs again and come back up. The tapping creates a vibration that releases all the stress in your body. And it could be as simple as going into the bathroom, looking in the mirror, and laughing hysterically at yourself. Because believe it or not, laughter releases stress. And if you hear somebody laughing, including yourself, it's practically impossible to stay down. You almost instantly feel your mood rise. My husband does a yoga class where they laugh sometimes, and I hear them all laughing over a not a YouTube video, over a Zoom call, and it's impossible for me not to giggle with them because they just are being ridiculous, and it's fantastic that they're doing that and that they're laughing, and by laughing, that they're releasing all their stress and all that energy. So stress accumulates. So I don't care which one of these things you do, but it's important that you do one of them. And then the final thing that we do in my house, we bought something called a belly button wand. You put it right into your belly button. It's a yellow T-bar. You put it into your belly button, and then you just jiggle the bar. Now, you can point it in any direction. So you can vibrate your liver. You can go vibrate your kidney. You can go over here and vibrate your lower intestine. You can come over here and vibrate the other kidney. You can come up and you can vibrate your lungs by using the belly button wand. Again, you reset your parasympathetic nervous system and let all the stress loose from your body, and it's fantastic. And I know that works because I actually saw the head of neurology at UCLA demonstrate it with a brainwave machine, and he pulled people out of the crowd and sat them down, and he was sort of poo-pooing this thing wasn't going to work, and he took their brainwaves and they were all over the place. And then he gave them the belly button wand. They only did it for a minute, so you can imagine what would happen if you did it for 3 or 4. And then he took their brainwaves. And I didn't make noise because I wanted you to see just how quiet that machine was when they sat back down again. So when we ran into him 2 weeks later at a health fair, he was blown away. He said, "Did you see what a difference the belly button wand made to the people that I pulled out of the crowd?" He now recommends them for everybody who's a patient of his at UCLA. So you can look it up. You can actually buy a belly button wand right from Amazon, or you can go to the company that created it. And I think it's at the Learn It Live website, and there are videos there with doctors' testimonials of just how fantastic the belly button wand is. My husband and I use it on each other sometimes at the end of a stressful day. It's a very loving thing to do. And there's even a study on their website where they took a group of burn victims, partly to a regular burn unit and partly to a hospital that was using belly button wands. And the people who used the belly button wand healed much faster and much more completely than the people who went through the burn unit at the other hospital. So don't poo-poo this stuff until you try it. You'll be amazed at how it releases your stress and how you feel the tingle of the release of your stress through your body and how much better you will feel. I also did a little tiny book, which I call a desktop book for stress, that has all these little exercises in it that you can keep right on your desk. So when it's 10 o'clock, you set an alarm and you know you're going to pick one of the stress exercises out of my little book, and then your alarm goes off again at 3 o'clock, and you know you're going to do another one of the little stress exercises at 3 o'clock, so that you never allow your stress to build up in your body and deplete your cortisol so that you get inflammation. It is the number one cause of inflammation in your body, and every organ in your body is interrupted by stress, which I learned the hard way when I got autoimmune disease. So learn some of these exercises and start practicing them right away. Stress also shortens what's called your telomeres. There was a book that came out last year where 2 women actually won the Nobel Prize talking about telomeres. So what are telomeres? They're like the hard coating that's at the end of your shoelaces that actually is at the end of your DNA. And if you're stressed, those telomeres start to shorten. And when telomeres start to shorten, the stress starts interrupting your skin, it starts aging you, and it starts to cause other havoc on different parts of your body. Chronic stress affects every physical and psychological system. I have a blog on my website, which is CherylMHealthMuse.com. Go read it or buy my little book and utilize the exercises that I offer there. It's not expensive. And it's all part of you taking time to refill your own cup so that you can be there for everybody else that needs you in this life. Okay, that takes us to number 25. Number 25 is to learn to control your ants. A-N-T-S, just like the little black critters that run around in your house and make you nuts. But ants, in this case, stand for anxious, negative thoughts. I used to have a terrible problem with anxious, negative thoughts, otherwise known as anxiety. And it ends up, I actually had a chemical imbalance in my body that I had inherited from my mother, because my mother had a serious case of ants. And you want to replace ants with thoughts of gratitude. So allow your inner champion to drown out your inner critic. And there was a Metagenics supplement that I took for anxiety. I only took it for 6 months, and I've never had the problem since. So if you're struggling with anxiety, take it seriously. There are solutions for it, and it will improve your health, it will lower your inflammation, it will improve your mood, and it will make you much happier to be around. Number 26, which we mentioned briefly there, was practice gratitude. Now, I believe that gratitude needs to be an active verb. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is I write down 3 or maybe 5 things that I am especially grateful for at that period in time that happened recently, that come from yesterday. And why do I do that? I do that because it sets my day off on a positive foot, because I am thinking about all the things that were fantastic about my life, which then sets me off to go create more fantastic things today. But I also believe that gratitude is only really helpful if you make it active. So go tell the people in your life how grateful you are for them. Tell your children how much you love them. Tell your spouse how much you love him. Be active with your gratitude and spread it around. It'll make their day It'll make your day, and it makes all those feel-good hormones come out of you. And then there's a final part of gratitude that I believe in strongly, and that is my word for this year is manifest. I want to manifest the things that I haven't accomplished yet or that I want in my life that I haven't pulled into my life yet. So one of the things I'm doing is I am practicing future gratitude. I am writing down how grateful I am that the things that haven't happened yet have happened so that I can feel it, I can sit with it, I can understand it, I can enjoy it, and I can create it and manifest it in my life now. So make sure you do all those aspects of gratitude. But gratitude is also really good for our body in some unusual ways. It improves your mental health, it improves your sleep, and it lowers your pain. All of which I think are pretty terrific things since I had so much pain when I got inflammation and autoimmune disease 9 years ago. So I urge you to embrace your own gratitude, to feel the beneficial effects in the many areas of your life that it has found to improve your psychological health by. Reducing toxic emotions, see, it all has to do with toxins in one form or another. Reducing all your toxic emotions like envy and regret when it comes to physical health. Grateful people have been found to have fewer aches and pains and take better care of themselves in general. Gratitude is also linked to much better sleep. Since I now wake up faithfully at 4 o'clock in the morning, the fact that I'm practicing gratitude is helping my body a lot. And then we'll talk about how to get a good night's sleep in a minute. And how to go back to sleep if you're wide awake. But gratitude is one of the things. If you start listing off all the things that you're grateful for, it puts you in the right frame of mind to be at peace so that you then can go right back to sleep. It helps us make new friends by thanking an acquaintance. It encourages them to pursue an ongoing relationship with you, and it sends the signal that there's a potential for a high-quality relationship to be formed with you. It's clear that there are multiple benefits to be had from incorporating a regular gratitude practice into your wellness routine. Writing down a few things every day from the present that you're grateful for and from the future that you're grateful for will also just make you happy. And it also will, by taking a moment at the dinner table to say something you're thankful for out loud. You know how we used to practice grace? I don't know if very many families are still doing it because a lot of families are no longer sitting around the dinner table at night. But make that a practice so that your children see what your eating habits are, and they can copy them like little pictures. What you pour into them is the way they'll be. And if you ask them what they're thankful for, and they hear what you're thankful for, that just promotes more gratitude and thankfulness for your life. And all of these acts open up your mind and body so that they start feeling their absolute best. Expressing gratitude actually releases dopamine and serotonin, which makes you feel good. So the things that are not discussed in medical tests and medical classes are still ones that enormously influence your health. And gratitude has been reported to lower depressive symptoms by more than 30% and offer physical pain relief and increase sleep quality because it's been shown to improve your sleep. It boosts your immunity and decreases the risk of disease. A study published in Spirituality in Clinical Practice found that grateful people have healthier hearts. Now, since heart disease is the number one thing that kills us, that's a good thing. By practicing gratitude and holding all of that gratitude in our hearts, that relaxes our hearts and actually allows our hearts to remain healthier as well. And it releases dopamine and serotonin, which are two crucial neurotransmitters responsible for making us feel good. And this is what should be being prescribed for your brain, for your moods, for depression and for your heart health. Okay, number 27, find and nurture your purpose. Now, by getting autoimmune disease and making a decision at 67 to go back to school because I had learned so much researching and going on a treasure hunt for things that would improve my health, I learned so much. I knew that my mission was going to be to share this with you and with other people in my community. That's why I went back to school. I wanted to get credentials so that it wasn't just all the file folders that I had created with all the things I had learned on my computer, but I actually wrote a best-selling book that's won 17 awards called It Feels Good to Feel Good, about eliminating all the toxins in my life, both the physical toxins and the emotional toxins that had created the sickness that I had that interrupted my health and made me girl interrupted and literally could have bankrupted my body and my business. So by having a purpose, then you have a reason to live again. And I love my purpose. I love sharing with people all the things that I have learned. And right now I have a class with 27 people in it that are coming once a week, and I'm sharing things that they don't know that I have learned that are going to be invaluable things for them to practice as they go through my class. These are things that will make their health significantly better the same way that they made my health significantly better. So whatever your purpose is, it may be saving animals, it may be helping and fostering children, it may be cleaning up the paths in your woods that got disturbed by the last set of fires that we had here in California. Whatever your purpose is, it gives you a reason to live. And by getting out and doing it, you're making the world a better place, which is making you feel better about being in your world and making your body feel better that it's here. And you're making everybody around you feel better because you're sharing whatever your purpose is. The next one is number 28, creating downshifting, which are stress-releasing habits. Now, you would think that this is the same as releasing your stress, but it's actually not. This is the foundation for every age-related disease, including Alzheimer's and dementia. Centenarians in the blue zone regions of the world have found effective ways to manage their stress on a daily basis. And it's different in each area of the world. If you live in Sardinia, it might mean at the end of the day, you sit down with your friends, and having a community is really important. You'll remember that's number one on my list of how to have a stress-free, happy, healthy life. So maybe if you're in Sardinia, you sit down and you have a glass of wine with all the people you've lived around your whole life and that you enjoy telling stories with. Maybe it means if you live in Loma Linda, which is another one of the blue zones, that you're taking a quiet nature walk during the Sabbath and getting outside and seeing the awe of God in the world. Or maybe it's just trying meditating, where you sit and you let your mind get quiet and empty and you just relax for a minute in the silence of the moment, which happens to be when I am my most creative, by the way. So don't be afraid to meditate, because even if I'm just driving a long distance, the things that come into my mind are my most creative thoughts in that period of time. At least 10 minutes a day of some kind of downshifting, stress-releasing habit will improve your outlook and lower your stress. Downshift is one of the blue zone's Power 9, the lifestyle habits shared by the longest lived people on this earth. Okay, and number 29 continues with that. Whether it's the way you downshift or not, number 29 is enjoy wine at 5. Now remember, if you're a woman, you're only going to have one glass of wine at 5. If you're a man, you can have 2 glasses of wine, because anything in excess of that is going to not be good for your heart and your body. But enjoy your wine at 5 and downshift and relax, because you're drinking moderately and regularly, and you're lowering your chance of mortality by doing this. There is an increased chance of maintaining your cognitive abilities into old age by enjoying this every day. Wine at 5 is another one of the Blue Zone Power 9 habits shared by the longest living people on the earth. Okay, number 30, get 7 continuous hours of sleep every night. Now, in my group, I have a couple of people who are not sleeping well. So they're getting up more exhausted in the morning than they were when they went to bed at night, just like I was when I first got sick. So what do I do so that I go to sleep? Let's start there. Don't be watching any of your electronics right before you go to bed, because the light that comes off your electronics, whether it's your television set or your computer or whatever it is, that will wake up your brain and keep you awake. So you want to shut all that stuff down a half an hour before you go to bed so that your mind is quiet so that you can go to sleep. So what do you do if you're still dealing with busy mind? The first thing I do is I have a notebook right next to where I go to bed. And if I have a lot of thoughts that are repeating themselves in my head, which I call busy mind, I pick up my notebook and I write them down. And I tell myself by writing them down, I am releasing them into the universe so that they're no longer playing over and over again in my mind. Just by writing them down, it really helps me quiet my mind, so that I can go to sleep. If I still can't go to sleep, then I do the Dr. Andrew Weil 478 breathing exercise. If I still can't go to sleep, then I do the exercise that I did at the end of the chakra podcast, where I teach you how to bring light in from the universe and clean out all my chakras, starting at the top one. I bring light in and out of all of my chakras all the way down, and then I take the light down and ground it to the center of the earth, and then I bring the light back up through my body and let it, the warmth of that light cascade around my body, and then I bathe myself in that light. And trust me, I never get all the way through that exercise, and I am out cold. So those are the things that I do to go to sleep. But I have a new habit now that I've grown old, where your body does a tune-up while you're sleeping. And one of the things that turns on at 4 o'clock in the morning are your adrenals. So I almost always get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go pee. And when I wake up, sometimes I can't get back to sleep. So then I do these exercises again so that I can fall back to sleep, because I don't want to get up that early. Now, another thing that I do if I'm awake in the middle of the night and I'm having a hard time going back to sleep is sometimes I will move where I'm sleeping. I'll go sleep on the couch. Simply by moving, I can fall asleep and sleep through the rest of my sleep cycle. Getting 7 hours of sleep is really important for the whole rhythm of your body to get through the day. Quality sleep improves concentration, improves cognitive functions like memory, decision-making, creativity, and communication through the day. It allows a leader to respond better to challenges. Quality sleep improves problem solving. It improves your attention. It dramatically improves your energy levels to accomplish the tasks at hand, and sleep improves innovation. Remember how I told you that if I can get quiet, that's when I get my most creative? Well, sleep allows your whole body to shut down and repair, which then allows more innovation in your life. It allows for more self-awareness. Well-rested leaders are more attentive to other team members' views and the ability to accomplish complex tasks as a team. Sleep fosters more empathy towards others. So I have a blog called Toxic Sleep, 13 Ways to Get the Sleep That You Need. Less sleep promotes dementia. Sugar also promotes dementia, by the way. Sugar is often called diabetes type 3 and is a direct cause of Alzheimer's. So you want to make sure you're getting adequate sleep, and you want to make sure you're not eating excessive sugar, because both of those will cause dementia. And I don't know about you, but I want to keep my brain for the rest of my life. And since I'm old, I am more conscious of that. And lack of sleep causes leaky gut, And leaky gut causes inflammation, and inflammation causes chronic illness and chronic disease. Number 30, use an electric air purifier in the rooms of your home where you spend the most time to reduce environmental pollutants in your home. So we have an electric air purifier in our bedroom, and we have an electric air purifier in our living room because those are the two rooms where we spend the most time. It is said that the air inside your house is hundreds of times worse than the air outside your house. And considering that I live in Los Angeles, that's saying a lot because we don't always have the cleanest air in the world outside. But that means we have even more toxic air on the inside. So I'm really happy that we made the investment and got the electric purifiers so that the air we're breathing in these two rooms where we're spending the majority of our time is purified air and making us not take more toxins in through our lungs, which then causes more havoc on our poor liver, which is the clearinghouse for all of the toxins. Number 31, become familiar with the ingredients in your cleaning products. Now, I learned from an environmental scientist that the way to do this is to take all your cleaning products and start at the bottom of the ingredient list and start looking up the ingredients that are in your cleaners. Even the cleaners that were recommended by our government to clean your house during COVID often were extremely toxic. So make sure you don't just take somebody else's word for it. Make sure that you're looking up the ingredients yourself and look them up from the bottom until you hit something that's really toxic and then go, I'm not going to utilize that in my home, in my cleaning. And you put it in a bin and you get it out of your house. Until you find a cleaning solution that is not that toxic, you're only going to bring that solution into your house when you're cleaning, and then you're going to get it back out because it's off-gassing the whole time it's in your house. I did find some Lysol products that were made with hydrogen peroxide that were very clean. I often clean myself with hydrogen peroxide. I clean my kitchen with hydrogen peroxide. And I also clean my kitchen right after I clean it with the hydrogen peroxide using white vinegar, because between the two of them, I have read they'll kill almost any nasty bug that could possibly exist on your cutting boards or your kitchen counters or your sinks or whatever it is. So you want to use cleaners so that you're not getting poisoned from doing the cleaning, that you're trying to avoid getting poisoned from the things that they're cleaning away. And there's a whole list in my first book, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again. There's a whole list of things you don't want in your cleaners. So you can either find that, you can look it up on an app that EWG puts out that you can actually read the codes on your bottles and it will say yes or no, or you can look it up by ingredients on ewg.org and toss out the cleaning things that are doing your body harm. You don't want those things near you. You don't want those things near your pets. You don't want those things near your children. Now, my favorite cleaning solution is by a company called Branch Basics, and it's a 1 on the EWG scale that goes up to 10. It's made from plant enzymes, and I fell in love with it originally because I eat a lot of eggs, and eggs stick to a plate, and I hated that. So if I would spray Branch Basics on the plate, walk away for 5 minutes, and come back with my sponge, the stuff would roll right off of my plate. So I use Branch Basics to clean my kitchen. I use it to clean my kitchen floors, which is where my kitties run around. I use it to clean my toilets because no matter what I do, my kitties seem to want to drink water from my toilets, and I don't want to cause them harm. When I was busy researching for how to improve my own health, I wasn't paying any attention to the health of my 3 kitties that I had at the time. My kitties always lived well into their 20s. Well, these kitties who had eaten food that was loaded with GMOs, which came out in the late 90s, and who were around all the cleaning products that I was using that were in their environment. They died at 12, 14, and 16, and it broke my heart. So I did a lot of research on how to get a healthier environment for my current two kitties, who are named Snap and Crackle. And my husband teases that he is Pop. So I have Snap, Crackle, and Pop in my home, and I want to keep them all toxin free so that they live good, long lives. Okay? The most toxic thing in your house are your fabric softeners. I used to use fabric softener, and I would wake up in the morning with a rash from head to toe, and I actually woke up one morning where my lips and my tongue and my eyes were swollen shut, and it was from the fabric softener. And so you don't want to be using that stuff in your house. I now have big wool balls that take the static electricity out of my drying, and I put a little touch of lavender oil on it, which makes my laundry smell wonderful without all the chemicals. There are also nasty synthetic, poisonous, toxic ingredients in your laundry detergent and in your dishwashing detergent. And if a child were to pick up one of those pods and bite into it, you might not even be able to get them to the emergency room at the hospital, even if it's close. So all of this stuff is important to know. Clean this stuff out of your house, for God's sakes, and protect your loved ones from all of these toxins. And bleach is toxic. Branch Basics also makes a spot remover that I love because it's not toxic and it takes all of the spots out of my clothes while I wash them. So it's a gem all the way around. It cleans like a dream. So make sure whatever you're using, whether it's my Branch Basics or something else, it is not a toxic product, and you've looked it up so that you know that it's not toxic. Okay? And then while we're talking about toxins and products that you wouldn't expect, you need to look up what's in all your personal care products, starting with perfume. Perfumes are god-awful for you. You're breathing in toxic chemicals, and you're breathing in toxic chemicals with all those air fresheners that you're spraying all over your house. Whether it's a plug-in that's releasing toxins into your room, or it is the one that takes all the odors out of your room, which is putting toxins in the air instead, or just an air freshener, or something that you're spraying on yourself that's a cologne or a perfume. They are all toxic. So what do I do instead? I use a diffuser with some organic essential oils, and I use simple things like lavender that are not harmful to my kitties, to my dogs, or to my body. And I might even put a little dab of lavender behind my ears so that I smell good, but I smell good without the chemicals. But all your cosmetics has chemicals in it, so become familiar with what the chemicals are. For 25 years, I had an itchy head because of the toxins in my shampoo. That one sort of floored me. I had no idea that's why my head was so itchy. So I now use a brand called Immerse, and I use them for the shampoo and for my conditioner, and it's very low toxin. And so my head's not itchy anymore. Hallelujah. But know what's in your products. Take the time to look them up, and if they have toxins in them, get them out of your house, because even just by sitting on a shelf, they are off-gassing into the air in your house and contributing to the nasty toxic air that's making your house indoors be more toxic than the air outdoors. Okay, I've been talking now for 55 minutes. I have 11 more points to go through. I'm going to save them for next week so that we can go through the last points, because what I want you to do is go back and write down the key points of each one of these items so that you can decide which ones you want to start adopting now, and eventually over the next 5 years I would like to see you adopt all of them, because by adopting these lifestyle choices you're going to live a much longer, healthier life, because these are all for your future health, and that's what I've become all about. My mission is to help you know what to do for your future health, to come to a pain-free place like where I'm at now. Even though I have autoimmune disease, I no longer have pain, and that's huge. And just as a reminder, I did get COVID. I was vaccinated, I was boosted, but because I'm immune compromised, I did not know how well I was going to go through COVID-19. And I went through it in 5 days. I never got super sick. I never got a fever that went over 100. It was all just under 99. I did get laryngitis. I did get a bad sore throat, and I got headaches. And for 24 hours, I got terrible muscle and joint pain, just like I used to get with my autoimmune disease. But it only lasted 24 hours. Within 5 days, all of my symptoms, except for some fatigue, were gone. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your immunity by adding all of these lifestyle changes into your life, starting with the food that you're eating. You want to be eating organic, and you want to be eating all the colors of the rainbow because you need all those phytonutrients to support your body. And that's how you protect your future health. But the stress, the sleep, the getting out into nature, all the other things that we're talking about, the having a purpose in life, the having a community, the downloading and relaxing with your loved ones, all of that stuff is also very important for you living a long and healthy and successful life. We only go this way once, gang, so let's feel as good as we possibly can as we go this way. So I'm only 73, and I plan to live a whole lot longer, and I'm sure glad that I'm doing it without the pain of autoimmune disease now, because I have adopted all these lifestyle habits, and I want you to adopt them too. So I'll see you next week, and we will finish all these lifestyle habits, and then we'll move on from there. I do want to talk about the heart in one of these podcasts, and I do want to talk about the lymph system in one of these podcasts, because those are both really important systems to our total long-term future health. So expect those to be coming up in future podcasts, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much. You've made me #1 on my channel, and I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're interested in health, and I'm glad that you're all tuning in and listening to me. So I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello. Could I see a show of hands if there's anybody out there like me who's tried to lose weight their whole life and not been successful? So you've tried all the different diets available. You've tried Weight Watcher. You've tried Jenny Craig. You've tried all the New York Times bestsellers. And the last time you did it, you started off great, just like all the other times. And you started losing weight, and then all of a sudden you fell off the horse. And before you know it, you're eating fast food and processed food again with all that sugar, and you don't even know why. And in the end, you've gained more weight than where you started out. So you now are beating yourself up that you just don't have the willpower to win. If that's you, I want to address the elephant in the room, because 9 years ago, I got autoimmune disease and started researching because I didn't want the pain that came with the autoimmune disease, and the added benefit was I lost the weight along the way. So let me tell you what happens. Big Food doesn't want you to win. They've rigged the system. They've put so many chemicals into fast food and processed food that they light up the brain like a pinball machine. It's the same part of the brain that goes off for cocaine and heroin, and you feel great when you eat that food, but it's not making you feel good, and you're starving your body for nutrition because it's loaded with empty calories, so you're getting fat eating that food, and it's not giving your body what you need. And it's turning off all your own feel-good hormones of serotonin and dopamine and even your insulin, which keeps your moods even. But worse than that, there's two little hormones here at the back of your neck called ghrelin and leptin, and they don't work, and they regulate your appetite because all those chemicals have subdued them, so you don't even know when you're full. So what did I learn to do instead? I'm eating the GLAD diet, loaded with all the phytonutrients that my body needs to be healthy and to thrive and to boost my immune system and to ditch the pain. And along the way of eating all this live food, I've lost 60 pounds without dieting. You see, I was starving my body for nutrition when I was eating the standard American diet, and now that I'm giving my body all those beautiful phytonutrients, it's not holding on to it anymore, so it's just dropping it automatically. So don't eat the standard American diet. I don't want you to get a standard American disease, and I certainly don't want you to die the standard American death. Instead, start eating the GLAD diet, because by eating all those beautiful phytonutrients, you will be healthier and you will live long and thrive. Thank you.